It is September 29th, 2017. We're here at 2629 Island Avenue, San Diego, California, 92102. We just did an inspection yesterday, but we're unable to get out past a little past the 60-foot mark in the sewer pipe. So we're back today. We just snaked the line. We used a Gorlitz machine that has a 1/2-inch inner core cable with a large 1.5-inch double-ended cutting bit. That's 100 foot. We went out right about 90 feet out. We were able to push it out and feed it out, so we didn't hit a spot where the line seems to be broken or collapsed upon itself, at least to that distance. So we ran a little bit of water inside the system, and the clean out doesn't have exact downhill slope, so we'll see if we have any little bit better clearing inside the line than we did yesterday with the first video we shot. So again, we may go underwater again. We'll see if we have any view or not this time. So you can see it's backing up already. So we kind of expected that, but hopefully when we get out to the 35 to 40 foot mark, we'll start to see a clearing at the pipe that is separated, and then beyond that, hopefully. Okay, we're not seeing anything unless we're dragging some really big debris on the end of the camera lens there. So we're going to go ahead and a little bit of clearing with the lights, but not even able to get by this area here. See, it opened up just for a split second there. That could be debris falling over on itself. I believe we're at one of the turn fittings right here. It does look like it's still clogged up with a lot of debris. You can see as we pull back, you can see kind of fold over the front of the camera lens there. So able to get the camera through there. Right there you can see we've got an opened up spot. Still not able to get the camera through here. We're going to go ahead and pause the video for a moment. Okay, so we've located where our camera is. You can see we still don't have a view. We were able to get this out just a few feet past where we could yesterday with the other 3 cameras. And the line continues at this 45-degree angle when it leaves this property. It's headed south and east. And it continues the few feet we were able to get out today to go actually farther east, and leaves the retaining wall to the side headed to 2639 Island. And there is a clean out on the other side of the wall a couple feet away from where we can get our camera. So this line actually leaves this property, and before it starts to head south, it actually enters the other property to the east. And we do see a clean out again. There's a green lid box with access to a 4-inch clean out. The pipe top is ABS, but when we look down, we can see it appears to be cast iron under the ground. and we bundled up about 3 or 4 rocks and piled them up. That's where as far as we could get the camera. Again, that's on somebody else's property, and they're not home at the 2639, so we couldn't do any real markings there, but we left the rocks in place. That's how far we were able to get the camera this time. So it appears that the line is definitely going to be cast iron still to this point, and maybe dumping into a T-junction and then sharing the line for either 2639, or that's just a turn on the line that they created with that clean out and the two pipes don't become one. So we had no way to test the neighbor's unit. So as we start to pull back, we'll see if any of the debris kind of folds up over the camera lens like it was earlier when we first were pulling back. So again, we got out approximately 45 feet from this clean out opening to as far as we could get with this camera's push rod. We still don't know if the line is broken and collapsed in any way, shape, or form. But as far as we got out the drain cable, we believe it's just really solidly packed. Now, that could still be some mud or dirt, but we're hoping it's just a lot of paper and debris. So there you go. We finally opened up a little bit as we pulled back here. This is the spot with the roots, and this is the little hump right here. So this is the problem in this crawl space again, where the ABS meets the cast iron T-fitting that is misaligned and leaking into the crawl space. So we're able to push this through, get stiff right there. That was a turn. And then as we continue out, getting to that 44, 45 foot mark, and it just completely stops up. So this is a little bit of a problem area. So what we'll do is we'll try one more time with a larger cutting bit and see if we can puncture this 45 foot area one more time, and we'll look with the camera. So we're going to pause the video. Okay, we've snaked the line out a second time. This time we went with a little bit, it's a single-sided, but it's a larger cutting bit and just a little bit longer. We didn't want to be too aggressive with this cast iron and with the offset pipe that's detached. So we're going to go back in the line. We do want to say that we jumped over the wall again with the cable going, and we are able to get the cable past where the camera can go. And when we open up the clean out that's in the neighbor's yard, again the 2639 property, we can hear the water splashing and our cable moving around the line. So that clean out is part of this system for this 2629 house. Again, because nobody was home, I have no way to test water from 2639 to see if they are dumping any part of their house line into that possible T-junction below the clean out. So we're just going to push forward here back through this line. Again, I believe this clean out, because of the way the piping is, has a constant sag or belly to the line, so I think it's always going to have backed up water on there. So now you can see we're in the newer ABS pipe again for the house. There's the junction picking up the toilet, and now we're coming up on the cast iron here that is all offset. There's the root intrusion at the offset junction, and then we're back into part of the ABS pipe. So this ABS pipe continues. We're a little bit clear now, so this is good. Now you can see here's that 45 we were never able to see previously, and now we are in fact cast iron. So it looks like we've possibly cleared the system here. So what we're going to do before we run some water is we'll locate that junction to this cast iron. Again, this is at the 45-degree elbow, so I believe this is going to be under the slab / foundation under the kitchen area. And now we're in the chalked out area, cast iron original pipe that we have marked out. And as we move forward here, we're still all in original cast iron. At least we have an opening now. So now you can see we do have a bunch of roots in the line there. So that means this cast iron pipe is failing. So essentially, here's that combo T junction, probably right by that clean out we had seen on the neighbor's property. So let's see if we're able to make this turn. Okay, we can. So here we're able to drop into that part of the line. We can see a bunch more roots hanging out in the system here. We're just going to back up again. So here's that turn. And you can see there's tons of roots in the system here. So all over the place here. So the good news is it looks like we've cleared the line. So we'll continue out down the pipe here. This looks a little bit larger than 4-inch. This could be a little bit bigger. A little bit of roots hanging there on the upper right hand side of the line. You can see right there. We've got some roots here on the top of the screen you can see growing in, and now we're coming up to what looks like to be a plastic junction here. So we have plastic ABS, and that's a clean out. And then you can see right after the clean out we have massive root intrusion. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and locate where this clean out is, and we'll go ahead and try to mark that if it's on the properties to the south and or west of here. We're going to pause the video. Okay, we've located this clean out. We went into the backyard of 2619, but in fact the line appears to be running more again into the fence line on the other side, which is 2639, which is to the east of this property that we're at, 2629. So we can see more clean out boxes over the fence into their yard, but again, nobody's answering the door, and so we don't have any access to get through the yard, but we can see actually 3 cover boxes down the fence line. So again, this is a little bit past 30 feet where the other clean out is, and we can see them above ground. They've got regular green lids, so they're really obvious and easy to see access for, but you would have to get into the yard of 2639 for them. So a little bit of difficulty pushing down the line here with the distance we're at. What we're going to do is probably run some water down the pipe here to help this move down the system, to see if we can get further down the line just for the heck of it. We at least want to go past 100 feet. Other than that, though, again, we know that there's 2 cleanouts on 2639 for this property, and those are the ones that would need to be accessed for the jetting process if they don't have access or want to go from the crawl space clean out here on 2629's property. So we're going to pause the video for a moment while we run some water. Okay, so we now have water running. We have the utility sink dumping through a garden hose into the area drain that's on the side of the house. Because the homeowner's not home, we don't have access to inside the house. So we're going to go ahead and keep this moving down the line relatively rapidly while we've got good movement and water. There's some roots there, just below 100 feet out. There's some more roots there, about 115, 120. Okay, now we're getting a little bit difficult to push out even with the water running, so we'll go ahead and pull back the camera now. So we'll leave that water running just for now. unless it blocks our view really bad. So again, there at about 121 feet, we have some roots. Again, at 118, we have roots. Just pausing for a second here while we pull our cable back. There's a lot of debris that comes out of the clean out of this property because of the bad slope of the clean out itself. So this is appeared again be a shared line with 2639, and the stoppage though that we had this time was before it tees and junctions into the line, so it does not appear in any way that they were contributing to the any water that would have backed up into this system. So here's another intrusion at 96 feet. Pipe is actually good and intact for the most part, but again, with all those intrusions at the hubs, this is going to be a constant maintenance issue. Okay, there's some roots at 80 feet. And that's where, right past that clean out that was put in. So right at the band junction where the plastic and metal come together, they're growing in from that actually connection that they added. So again, that is the clean outs that we discovered about 30 feet past the fence line of this property on the southeast corner. And they're on, access to them is at 2639. Come back here. This is a straight run along the fence. There's some roots there at about 68 feet. Okay, we're coming back up to the initial point where we're at the first clean out we couldn't get by. We're going to pause the video while we stop the water. Okay, got the water shut off. We might have a little residual coming down the line and a little bit hanging out in the pipe. Okay, here we have roots and right at about 46 feet. And right in front of it at 45 feet, all clogged up there as well. And this is that big, long, thick run of a couple feet you can see there. And that's really clogged up there in the line. And that's right at the turn. So you can see that was that 43 to 46 foot mark. That's where our cameras were originally not getting by, even though the first snaking cable would get through, because the roots were so heavy and thick. The manually pushed camera couldn't get by. So with the second snaking, we ripped out enough to clear the line and make it accessible for our cameras to get through this. So some roots there lining the walls of the pipe. So again, right there, the cast iron is intact. It looks like it could handle hydrojetting. That's the one thing you just always have to worry about with really old cast iron, is the lower PSI may have to be run to be a little bit gentler so that the walls of the pipe don't flake and fall apart. You don't want to create a problem more than what you already have. With the roots, those can be maintained once they're snaked or jetted out a little bit better with a foaming chemical treatment that the homeowner can even do themselves. But this is the cast iron run. So back into the ABS right here. So we're going to again locate this. We do believe it's under the kitchen area, under the slab, but we're going to find and mark this spot just so we know for the homeowner. So we're going to pause the video. Okay, we did verify that this ABS junction where it's ending is under, unfortunately, the concrete slab under the kitchen. So right under the beginning of the kitchen sink, and then the line continues to run across a little bit of the sink and then out of the slab and foundation wall. And then we've got it chalked where this cast iron is running. So again, this straight run of cast iron, as you can see here, is of course clear. And then right after we make the bend that's going to be coming up, another 45-degree bend, or right before it, I'm sorry, is where we have roots all bunched up. So right at about the 40-foot mark, and then we make that turn, and then a couple feet later, and all through here, from 43 out past to this 46-foot mark is where we have really thick intrusions, and that's what was actually causing this pipe to be completely blocked up, and then causing all the debris to flood out into the crawl space because of a disconnected T-junction. So that pipe cannot be repaired, and then the homeowner can then go ahead and possibly go ahead and hydrojet the rest of these roots out, and then whether or not they want to go further down the line, the jetter could probably do that, but it does appear that it's a shared pipe, so the owner of the property next door should actually contribute to the cost of cleaning and maintaining that line. But that's between the two homeowners, of course. So the line is now clear, and we have marked out on this property, in case the cast iron does ever have to be replaced, where it's at and how deep it is. It's a little, right about 2.5 feet deep under all the concrete, and then goes into the neighbor's yard. So we're just pulling back now. So this is under the slab. This is already back into the crawl space, and these are the roots that are just growing in from right here. So this is the disconnect of the cast iron T to the ABS plastic, and you can actually see the root ball growing outside of the pipe, and then it grew into it. So that's a cast iron little piece of pipe, and then we're back into ABS again immediately. And that cast iron pipe is again a T-junction that is utilized just to pick up the outside area drain. So we're going to go ahead now and continue to pull back on the line and just show the rest of it. More of that debris from the first video inspection, which was kind of messy, not real clear. Apologize. You'll see now that we've got a lot more of the debris out of the line here. Now we're in the clean out, and again, this clean out area is basically, it has a belly or a sag to it, so there's always going to be a little bit hanging out in the bottom of that. There's nothing that can be done about that. So now we've just come out of the clean out. I'm going to wipe off our camera lens here. So this came out through that clean out. There's our tarp collecting everything. And so the line is now clear after 2 snakings. However, more of those roots can be jetted if the homeowner wants, with hydrojetting to remove a little bit more, and then a foaming chemical called Rudex, or another brand called Robic, which is available to regular homeowners, can be purchased and put down the line to help kill and keep those roots from growing back into the system. So that concludes this recording.